wrestling buddies want to be your buddy.
What's going on?
Hey, buddy. Buddy!
You got me mad now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Compadres Slamcast right here on AfterBuzz TV on Podcast One. It doesn't matter how you're listening, doesn't matter how you're watching, doesn't matter where you live. If you're in Hawaii, we especially appreciate you. Doesn't matter where you're coming from. Thank you for watching and listening. Oh, Dale's giggling already. It's going to be a good show. Let's get to it. We got Matt Stryker coming up on the show. We have Scorpio Sky coming up on the show, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get right to it. At Wrestling Buds on the Twitter, Facebook.com/Wrestling Buds. So go to both of them and give us a like. And let's get to everyone in studio. I am at Jay Quasto, JQUASTO. That dude right there, he is the host of the Curtain Jerks podcast. He's the host of the 16 Bits podcast, and he's the host of Joy in Your Hearts every single week. You can find him on Twitter at Curtain Jerks. He's Scott Narver.
My boy.
That's not cholesterol. That's me, everybody.
you cover the LDLs and the HDLs, all those.
Oh, man, I get all the DLs.
Yeah, you definitely.
DL Hughley.
Right, that's a good one.
I cover that one, too.
The disabled list?
Yep, all of them.
And what other DLs are there?
Delroy Lindo.
And the down low. You always cover the down low.
Wow. What about D'Lo Brown?
And there's so many DLs you're covering.
I am down with the Brown. You better recognize.
Oh boy.
Oh, let's move on from Scott. I knew that was going places.
That was his catchphrase, not mine.
Okay.
I'm merely taking.
Next to Scott Narver. He is the pride of TCU and Houston, Texas. Find him on Twitter at CRice17. He is wearing a Stormtrooper Houston Astros hat. He's Chuck Rice.
He's a man.
Where does one find one of those?
Pretty rad, right?
Yeah.
So the MLB put out like a series of hats for every team just like this in their colors.
I did not know that.
There's like, I saw one for the Dodgers at the Lid store the other day, and I was like, wait, is this just like a Dodgers hat? And they was like, no, they have them for every team.
So you went and found one.
So I went and ordered one.
Nice.
I mean, how could I not?
No, that's is there like a Princess Leia one? That's probably what I would rock. Just her bun right on top of the hat.
Unfortunately, Johnny, they only have the Stormtrooper.
Oh.
But it's still pretty sweet.
All right, it is. Well,
in time for Comic-Con, you know?
It is in time for Comic-Con. It's a pretty sweet hat. And you know who else is pretty sweet? Our other co-host he's coming to us straight from Washington, D.C. You can find him on Twitter at TheWalkingDale. He is always vest for business. He is none other than Dale Rutledge.
I got a puppy.
I got a puppy?
Bad news.
And you're about to make your way out west, aren't you, buddy?
Yes, indeed. I'm hopping on a plane mañana.
An aeroplane.
Gonna get up on that Comic-Con, you know.
So we're actually hanging out this week. How about that?
Yeah, it's long overdue. That's for damn sure.
It's long overdue. And Dale, you're gonna be in California, and that means you might. Are you gonna make the announcement today?
Am I winning a trip to Hawaii?
No, but Chuck actually went out of his way and got you.
Brand new Apple Watches.
He bought the Stormtrooper hats and Apple Watches.
Good day.
But no, next week for the Wrestling Compadres Slamcast, any truth to the rumor that you might not have to be on a telephone?
I can neither confirm or deny that is 100% true.
Ooh, a laptop.
Yes. We're going to name
Narver is still in the studio.
Narver is here. He's
Haven't
here.
been banned yet.
He's not leaving.
My mother was born in Brooklyn.
Next week's show is going to be called
Is that what DL actually stands for? He doesn't leave?
He doesn't. Scott DL doesn't leave Narver.
That's right.
Oh, man. So yeah, exciting stuff. You're coming out west. I think we're all going to be in San Diego at one point or another this week, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We should be hopefully hanging out with some WWE folks there. They're doing an NXT panel if anybody is going on Thursday at Comic-Con. It's NXT and Mattel. panel. I think it's at like 12-ish on Thursday. If anybody is out there, you should definitely check it out. I know that they have Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Charlotte, and some other folks there. So it should be a pretty awesome presentation.
Are you going to be there?
I unfortunately don't arrive in time.
Oh, man. So the onus is on me to get my ass down there and try to just squeeze my way in?
Yeah, that's what I suggest. Or we could just, professionally stalk them afterwards.
I was going to say, well, considering I don't have a media pass or a ticket, I'll see what I can do.
Squeeze or stalk. You got to choose.
What?
You said either you're going to squeeze your way in or you're going to stalk your way there.
Scott Narver has the oddest brain of anyone I've ever sat in studio with, and I love it 95% of the time.
This is one of the 5
You're
And then there's that.
Squeeze or stalk.
All right, let's get to some announcements. All right, first off, I'm honored to make this announcement. It's officially public as of today. I'm going to be going to the Middle East in a very short time, next month, for the Ringside Salute Tour. It's kind of, it's the first of a tour like it. WWE does Tribute to the Troops every year, which is awesome. They go to Kuwait and they visit a bunch of bases, but unfortunately with their schedule, they can't stay very long. And so I'm going to MC a tour with Austin Aries, Thea Trinidad, Ken Anderson, Shane Helms, and Sergeant Chris Melendez. And we're going to go to multiple bases. I can't say where, but it's in the Middle East. It's hot. We're going there, and it's going to be in August. It's going to be a nice long tour, and it's really amazing. Armed Forces Entertainment put it all together, and it's an honor to be doing it, and I really hope it's the first of many, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, congrats. That's huge.
Thanks.
And we're going to have Chris on the show next week to talk about the tour.
Chris is the kind of guy we could talk to for like 3 hours just about his life.
Well, his story is so fascinating. I mean, a couple weeks ago we were talking about the guy that was on, the Tough Enough tryouts.
Yes.
And you heard me talking about Chris then. If you're not aware of who Chris Melendez is, you need to be. Mm-hmm. This is one of the most fascinating people you can meet in general, and then the way he's taken that fascination around him and put it into a wrestling character is amazing.
Well, it's incredible. The whole tour came about when Ken Anderson was in studio with us. Him and I both wear Wounded Warrior Project bracelets because he works with them very closely. I've gotten to know them, and we started talking about my tour I did for the troops last year, and he goes, God, I'd love to do one of those. And so I contacted Armed Forces Entertainment, and the guy that I know, he's the one that handles the WWE tours. And so I said, hey, what if we put together a tour? He goes, well, if you MC it, let's put together a tour. I said, okay. And so Anderson was on board, and then we just built the team from there. And Anderson is the one that got Chris Melendez into wrestling with the Dudleys, I think.
Yep.
So it's all just, it came together so well, and I'm honored to be doing it. So you'll be seeing all the social media posts and the flyers and all the good stuff from Armed Forces Entertainment. So really excited. It's going to be fun. We'll if I don't get my video camera stolen again this year, I'm going to videotape some stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
I just think something like that is so cool too, because like Ken himself is former military.
Yep.
So the fact that he can go back over there and do this in a position like that, amazing.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good time. All right, let's move on. We got a lot of stuff going on. First off, the Red Carpet Rumble for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is this Sunday. It's the biggest event of the year. I'll be there calling the matches. Hobo's gonna be there. Ty Matthews, our friend's gonna be there. Just everyone's gonna be there. Scott, are you gonna make it up? Do you think?
I'm going to try.
All right,
I'm going to try and make it.
He's gonna try.
So I get to be in the Rumble if I go.
There's 30 guys in the Rumble. There might be a spot
Gonna
for you.
squeeze or stock my way to victory.
Squeeze or stock your way to victory.
No.
So with that said, we actually have a very special guest, Scorpio Sky, who's in the main event. He is wrestling Yuma for the Heritage Championship. So I got to talk to him a little while ago, and let's go to the interview. Me and Scorpio Sky, and then we'll come back. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Here we go. All right, it is now time for one of my best friends in the game. There is a massive event coming up this Sunday. You already heard me talk about it before. It's the Red Carpet Rumble for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. This guy is a former Heritage champion, former two-time TV champion. And honestly, if you look over the 5 years and 200-plus episodes of our show, if you ask me, this dude's the face of the show. Find him on Twitter at Scorpio Sky or on Instagram at The Experience IG. He's Scorpio Sky. What's up, my friend?
What's going on, my man?
Yo, man, I saw the photo that was posted of you the other day. You got the boxing gloves on. You're just giving it to the bag, and you're wearing the I Hate Johnny Yuma t-shirt. Dude, that thing was beautiful.
That just shows where I'm at right now, man. I'm focused. I mean, the reality is nobody likes Johnny Yuma, so I'm almost as excited of just being able to put hands on him and have everybody else enjoying it as much as I'm going to enjoy taking the Heritage Championship back.
You need to, man. Vermin has been destroying Championship Wrestling. They were the reason they knocked you out for 9 months, man. You were gone for 9 months. Then you came back, and it's been a nonstop war for the better half of a year. And Yuma still has that damn title, and I'm so sick of calling matches where he's wearing the gold, man.
I agree with you. I think everybody is sick of Yuma. Everybody was sick of Yuma before Vermin, and he couldn't get it done on his own, and that's why he put Vermin together, and now he's the top guy. Coincidence not, but you can only stand behind everybody else for so long, I should say. Eventually it comes down to one-on-one, and everybody has to pay the piper, as the Hot Rod used to say.
Yes, they do, and this is the main event of the show. Now, granted, this is going to be an amazing event. It's you versus Yuma for the Heritage Championship. We also got Kenny King and Eli Drake, otherwise known as Sean Ricker. That's going to be, those two together, that's going to be fantastic. And I think the match that I'm looking forward to as well, for sure, Kevin Martinson taking on Brian Myers. Those two, they're going to tear it up.
Yeah, it's a great card. I mean, this is the biggest show of the year for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for a reason. You've got, didn't even mention the Rumble that's coming up.
Yep.
You're going to have a full packed house of guys all fighting for a shot. I'll be paying attention to that because obviously that could be a future opponent for myself. So those matches, each one of those matches alone could be a main event on any show. But they're all packed on the one stacked card. It's going to be really good. And it's free admission. You can't even beat that.
It's free admission. You can't beat. You got to go to Port Hueneme. You got to make it to the event. And you mentioned Roddy Piper a minute ago. His kid is on the card. His kid's wrestling.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to have the Hot Rod's son in the house. Who knows? Maybe the Kilted Warrior will show up himself.
Well, I know his son, Colt Toombs, has an MMA background. I don't know how extensive his wrestling background is, but you kind of have a bit of a different story. You've been wrestling for years. I mean, people who watch MTV, they saw you on Wrestling Society X, I think 7 or 8 years ago. You've appeared on WWE television. You've appeared on Impact Wrestling. And now you've gotten into MMA over the past, better course of a year or two, I think?
Yeah, I've been training for a couple of years, and I had a fight a couple of years ago. It was a very small scale, almost like Fight Club type event, very, very small and underground. And then I just got seriously into it a year and a half ago and decided to take a couple fights on a higher level. And it's been going great. I've just been working hard. I got to the point where I'm very competitive in real life. I'm just a very competitive person, and I wanted that. I wanted to conquer a new mountain, so to speak. Pro wrestling was something that I've done for a long time, and I've done well at it, and I've enjoyed it. But as you get older, you make new goals, and MMA was one of them. And now I'm crossing over and doing all that. It's been good.
It's been really good for you. My question is, you're doing both essentially at the same time. Has training in MMA, has that made, I don't want to say getting in the ring for wrestling easier, but I imagine your conditioning is probably the best it's ever been now that you're training so hard with MMA, right?
Well, I've got that Benjamin Buttons disease anyway, so
that's true.
As I get older, I'm only getting better. But my conditioning has been phenomenal, actually. Ever since I started training, I'd say probably a month after I started consistently training, I just felt a huge difference, and I rarely get tired in matches. Sometimes I don't even really sweat that much in matches. I've gone to the dressing room before, and people are like, "You're not even sweating," and it's like, "Oh yeah, I guess not." It's an unbelievable workout. Not that wrestling isn't. I haven't consistently wrestling trained in a couple of years because I've been doing like the MMA and that sort of thing, and it's very similar in different ways. But as far as having to be tough, having to be athletic, having to be light on your feet, having to take punishment and keep going, they're very, very, very close.
It's funny you mentioned about getting better with age. You're like a 40 a hurricane, man. Just gets better as time goes on. You know what I mean? That's how you are.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to. I'm trying to fight Father Time. Father Time is undefeated, but I'm looking to give him his first loss.
And speaking of, you're looking to give Yuma a loss this Sunday, the Red Carpet Rumble, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Just go to CWF Hollywood on Twitter. You can get all the info, free admission in Ventura County and Port Hueneme. And also for you're at Scorpio Sky, right, on Twitter.
On Twitter.
On Instagram at The Experience IG.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I know you got some T-shirts.
Yeah, I got some T-shirts coming up. Obviously, you can look me up on ProWrestlingTees.com/Scorpio Sky. I've got another side thing that I do where I get some real good shirts. A company called Glad Rags Inc. I'm going to have some T-shirts at the shows I'm going to be doing starting at the Red Carpet Rumble. You can look me up online and you can get the PayPal thing going. You can order them direct from me. So as I said, Instagram, The Experience IG, Twitter, Scorpio Sky, and Tinder, Bobby Brown Balls. No, I don't really.
What are the odds of me getting one of these T-shirts on Sunday? You know I'm all over the internet. I'll be wearing that shirt.
I need you to. I need that.
All right, dude. Get me a schmedium. I'll fit in it.
Schmedium.
Well, dude, I can't wait to see you on Sunday, man. I'm so excited for the entire event. I'm already taking notes. I'm ready to go, and I cannot wait to call the main event, Scorpio Sky versus Yuma, for the Hollywood Heritage Championship this Sunday. Brother, thank you for being on the show, man, and hey, I'll see you in a couple days.
See you soon.
All right, brother.
Bye.
All right, there we go. That was Scorpio Sky, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Red Carpet Rumble this Sunday. And hey, Dale, I know if you're in California by then, man, take the drive up with me.
What is a schmedium?
A schmedium is a small and a medium kind of combined, from what I've been told.
Who you fooling with schmedium? You're more like a lug-a-medium.
Well, what's it called? A medium. Yeah, that's right. You got it. All right, we got plenty of stuff to talk about. Let's jump into it right now. WWE. We got some stuff. Do we want to go Beast in the East first, or do we want to talk about all the name calling that was done on Monday Night Raw? What should we get into first?
Let's talk Beast in the East.
Okay, let's talk Beast in the East. He makes quick work of Kofi Kingston, but Kofi got in some offense. But I know we got to talk first about the man that Dale wants to talk about. The guy who he accurately predicted last week would become the new NXT champion, and that is Finn Balor. Dale, the floor is yours.
I think it's awesome. I don't know. I think Kevin Owens has been on enough of a roll that he doesn't need to hang on to that title.
I'm on a roll, baby.
I just found it so interesting that they had him lose twice in a row leading up to this.
Twice in a row?
He lost on NXT.
He did.
He loses this. I mean, you almost have to imagine now coming up at Battleground, he has to beat Cena. Otherwise, where did all this momentum go?
That's a good point, because you're right. He did lose on NXT. He got pinned by Finn Balor, and I'm like, well, no way that's going to happen in Japan. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to. I think that's still more about Balor than it is about Owens, though. I mean, I guess they could have not had him get pinned, but I liked him pinning the champion because it helps build what he's trying to do. Because, like I said, Kevin Owens is already established. I mean, people are clamoring for Match of the Year nomination, and I think he'll leave with the U.S. title for sure from a Battleground. So I don't think it matters if he loses a couple times to Finn Balor.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really cool thing to see, because we talked about this last night. You know, the lighting is different over there, and that was the same arena that I think you saw an event in. Am I correct?
Yeah, Invasion Attacks was there. I mean, that's also the home of like sumo wrestling and all that kind of good stuff. So the building has a lot of history to it, but it definitely can't support like fireworks or any of the normal glitz and glam that WWE sprays on top of their events. So it was kind of interesting to see just the nitty-gritty.
It really was, and I think Finn Balor and Kevin Owens probably should have been the main event, because the tag match kind of had a hard time following.
The whole show to me was just kind of weird and a little off. You know, like even at the opening match, the Jericho.
That was good though, man. They had some great moments.
It had some great moments, but overall, it wasn't my favorite match. You know.
What was your favorite match on the card?
I'm gonna say Owens Balor.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, mean, I think that's everyone's favorite match from that card, though, so I'm not, like, special here.
Scott's shaking his head no.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
What was your favorite?
Seeing Brock versus Kofi in Japan was great. Seeing Brock walk out in what looks like a house show on TV, just towering over everyone and being triple the size of everyone.
Hell yeah.
You know, no schmediums on that guy.
No.
And just seeing that.
He knows how to squeeze his stock in Japan. That's for sure.
Sure does. Seeing that felt like being in the crowd of that show, and it was really special and unique, and it wasn't Triple H or Cena again, some of the other just constant opponents for Brock, and you know, we're not going to see him on Superstars or Main Event having a squash match. We instead see it all the way in Japan. It was super weird. I loved it.
And also, kudos to Kofi for getting beat up and then flying 20 hours or whatever back to Chicago and then taking part in Raw. That's not an easy thing to do. He got tossed around.
Yeah.
Like a schmedium.
Mm-hmm. Like a Jamie Noble, and he kept his ribs intact, so good for him.
Oh, poor Noble. I don't know what's intact in that body anymore after what happened on Raw. My God. So let's just get right into it. So, Dale, Cesaro, John Cena, or Brock Lesnar temper tantrum, what are we leading off with? What's the top story?
I think Cesaro, John Cena, because he's finally, I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row of Cesaro really having some stellar matches and hopefully getting back to where he should have been a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy about that one? On the Hulu Plus version where they condensed Raw, they didn't even put that match on there.
You got to be shitting
I had to go find it online somewhere.
How does Hulu not put this?
I didn't just, like, of all the things that they showed on their condensed version, that was not one of them.
But that's how Raw ended. How do they end the Hulu Plus version if they don't put the
Hulu Plus version of Raw ended with the Brock Lesnar beating the shit out of the car.
I mean, but come on, that's blasphemy. I mean, Cesaro went for a half hour. That was more than pay-per-view. That was just that. It's funny because halfway through, I was like, this match is a little bit slower than the one previously with them two the week before.
It was a great match, though.
Oh, by the end of it, I was like, match of the year. Just amazing. I surrender. Match of the year. My hands are up.
Did you tap out?
No. I was like tapping out due to excitement and enjoyment.
It's nice to see them finding a way to use Cesaro still while Tyson Kidd's going to be on the shelf for a while. You know?
Yeah, because it could have been very easy for them to just brush him off to the side and not hear from him until Tyson Kidd was ready again. Because it's not, you know, as we know, they don't necessarily respect everybody.
Well, God,
especially Cesaro, so it could have been very easy for him to just get lost.
I would hope they wouldn't be that foolish, but you know.
I have a really bad feeling in my gut when it comes to Cesaro right now. Not by any lack of him as a wrestler, but I feel like he's gonna end up getting that Dolph Ziggler treatment, where he's gonna, he's a phenomenal wrestler.
Kissing pretty ladies? Huh?
Yeah,
pretty ladies, huh?
Well, for once, Dolph's got something good happening to him, but most of the time,
ladies riding in ambulances.
Yeah,
fine, but most of the time, Dolph is the guy that you know is going to go out there, have a good match, and he's never going to come out the winner.
Don't sell so good.
And I feel like that's going to be Cesaro's fate if this kind of role continues.
But Cesaro, they're different. Him and Ziggler are. I see your point, but they're just a different animal altogether. Cesaro.
Are they?
Dude, Cesaro can do power moves that nobody else can do, and he can execute them so safe.
I agree. And Dolph can do some spectacular high-flying moves and some things and some submission moves that no one else can do.
But you know that Vince has never been one to respect the high flyers. He's always a power guy. You have to look like a monster, and I think Cesaro looks pretty
Cesaro does not look like a monster.
In this day and age of their monsters, there's not too many big ones like Brock. So Cesaro, I think, falls in that category. And when they know how strong he actually is, and they can do that, they don't have to hide it or play it up in any way.
Yeah,
he falls almost in the monster category.
I mean, but you have to look at the track record of what's happened so far too here to this guy. He's been this close to a championship or a big run or a big push so many times, and every time it either doesn't get over or it gets derailed. I mean, how many chances are they going to give him before they say, all right, well, you're a good guy to have on the roster. We know we could put you out there. You're going to have good matches, but you're not the guy.
I feel like this is different, though, this time around. He's just... These last 2 weeks, the matches he had, you can't deny him. And, people thought he had given Cena the finger last week during that match, and so they bleeped it out. He wasn't giving him the middle finger. It turns out he was actually showing the ring finger. It was his way of saying, hey, I want the brass ring. I'm taking it right now. And
I thought it was, I'm ready and willing to marry Nikki if you're not going to do it.
Oh, well, either way, I mean, I think you need more of a than a brass ring. I mean,
either way he wins, I think, in that fight.
There's no doubt about that. So, and then last night, that match was just... I think that was probably the best one I've seen, even better than Cena Owens. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think.
It's your opinion.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
It was a great match. There's just... You know what else was a surprisingly good match on Raw last night?
Go ahead.
Ryback and Big Show.
Yeah.
You're just a little itty-bitty Ryback boy.
Yeah, it was decent.
Like despite Miz continuing to screw it up in there for them, they had good chemistry together last night.
I think that triple threat is going to be largely underrated, and I think it's going to be very entertaining between the three of them.
I do too.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like that moment at the end too, where you thought both of them were going to just walk off after destroying Miz, and Ryback got his one up on him.
Exactly.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. You know what else I like? Rusev on the microphone.
The always hot and submissive Summer.
Who knew? Summer Rae's submissive,
That's not
Dale.
very PG.
She's submissive, Dale.
Sorry, my phone cut out.
I said Summer Rae is apparently hot and submissive, according to Rusev.
The always hot and submissive Summer.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I always think that everything that Summer Rae does is a little weird. But I'm glad that this is happening, because I would hate to take a break from Rusev because he's just been so hot, and now we get to see more on the character side from him. We all kind of grew to appreciate him. Collectively, I feel Rusev got a lot of heat in the beginning, and then everybody started to appreciate him. And I think this is going to do the same thing, but on the microphone side for him.
I think this is where he's going to transition into that 50 Shades of Grey type character.
Rusev?
I'm kidding.
Jesus.
Oh boy.
That's no Tank next year for WrestleMania then.
That's you've got to squeeze your stock if you're going to pull that move off. But who would have thought, though, 6 months ago, if you would have said, hey, there's going to be a program with Dolph Ziggler and Rusev, who would have said that Rusev would be the more entertaining one to watch right now? Because, to be honest, I mean, Ziggler and Lana, okay, they make out. Got it. But Rusev, sad Rusev, angry Rusev, and now breaking crutches over yo ass Rusev, it's so entertaining.
Rusev's the man.
Yeah, it's weird. I think Ziggler's character that he's playing is a little too subdued. I don't know if this is supposed to be his cool guy version of himself or what this is, but I think Ziggler's kind of getting shown up in this whole exchange.
Well, he got sent off in an ambulance.
I mean, I guess so, but
2 crutches broke. He did the whole just right off in the breaking the trachea, or as the announcers called it, the larynx. Not exactly the right way to say it, but close enough. But last night made this whole storyline a little more stomachable for me, because now I'm thinking we're gonna have Rusev versus Ziggler Battleground, and then it's going to become a mixed tag match in SummerSlam. That's my prediction.
Ooh, you think it all builds to that?
I do.
In the ladies.
I don't think it's leading to a mixed tag, because I don't think either of those ladies is ready to wrestle.
Summer Rae's been wrestling for years. She's totally ready.
yeah, come on, bud.
Again, I don't think either of those ladies is ready to wrestle.
First off, it's not like they're going to be in the ring a lot. It's going to be mostly Rusev Ziggler. But I'm telling you, does that not scream SummerSlam match, mixed tag with someone like Lana who hasn't had a match yet? To me, that screams SummerSlam all over it.
Summer Scream.
Summer Scream. Mm-hmm. hot summer.
It feels like to me that would be a waste of a match on a SummerSlam card. To be honest, I'd rather see Rusev and Ziggler draw it out and have a singles match there.
Well, I think for the sake of a card, sometimes it's good to have those matches in there. Where if you're gonna have all these serious matches, you're gonna have a title match, you're gonna have some with Owens and Cena and some with Brock, and all these things that are gonna happen. You have to have something kind of light-hearted and rooting for somebody that hasn't wrestled yet that you want to see Lana actually kick Summer's ass.
And then it could also continue Rusev's storyline. Go ahead, Dale.
Chuck, have you seen Lana wrestle in any capacity?
No, I haven't, but I don't think she's a wrestler. Like, I think I don't even know how much training she has in it, but just from her roll around romp on the ground last week and whatever, I'd prefer not to see it.
Wow. She could have been wrestling with a KGB as far as, just underground. You don't know?
I don't know.
What if I'd rather throwing shade at the Divas?
No, again, this is Chuck saying I'd rather see someone like Charlotte come up and get put into a match and then use that for the women's match.
Do you just refer to yourself in the third person?
Well, that doesn't mean it's going to be the only match with divas in the in SummerSlam.
I'm not saying it is, but I'd rather see some of those NXT divas that we know can wrestle, we know can put on a good match, have that time on that card as opposed to the sideshow.
What if SummerSlam also has a divas match featuring some of the NXT people who have not yet been called up? Then would you be okay with a mixed tag or something featuring Lana versus Summer Rae in some kind of a grudge match?
I would allow it, Johnny.
You would allow it. Chuck would allow it. Dale, you've heard it here first.
Allowing divas a chance.
I do think that is a possibility, by the way, Johnny, to have this Paige storyline. I guess this is where the Paige storyline is going, like where nobody is going to help her out, then maybe the
Does anyone
NXT
know?
Look, here's the bottom line. WWE has a lot of talented female wrestlers under contract to them.
Yep.
And a lot of them, because we've talked about this before in here, a lot of people still might not be watching NXT. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people aren't, and they're not aware of these divas, right? So if they were to bring these girls up and put them in matches, you could really make that division matter. It's not that I don't like women's wrestling. Y'all try and make me the villain here, the heel, whatever, talking bad about the divas and stuff.
We're not putting you on a heel. We're not making you a heel.
No, Chuck, you're doing that yourself.
No, listen, and everybody knows this. Half of the time, WWE hires, models and these women that haven't wrestled before, have no experience, to throw them on TV.
Yeah.
And they can't wrestle.
Right.
It's not that they're not talented. It's not that they can't be good on the mic. I'm not taking anything away from Lana. If she can wrestle, great. But do you really, we haven't seen anything from her that indicates that she can. I'd rather have them build that division up and make it matter.
Well,
So you're saying she's Virgil?
Wow.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying... Never mind.
No, you should totally judge before you see something happen. I think that the Charlotte, the only thing is if you bring a lot of those girls up, what happens to the NXT division that everybody's so gaga about?
They have so
it's not
many...
like there's that huge of a void of wrestlers on Raw. You have some girls that can go, but the ones that can go, everybody's tired of seeing, it seems. I don't know.
That's kind of what I'm saying, though.
An interesting dilemma to bring girls up doesn't make the writing better, and I feel like your main complaint is that they don't do good storylines with them.
Yeah, and there's
consistent storylines, I think, is the main issue.
It's consistent, and it's the time of matches given. Like when you have two people that can go in there and wrestle and put on a good match, it doesn't matter which gender they are. A good match is a good match.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Look back to the match that we saw Charlotte having in NXT months ago. Everyone was like, these are the matches of the year.
Well, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, too. Good luck.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you bring a bunch of them up at once, you can really make that division matter so that it's not the same faces all the time doing the same match, doing no stories with it. This is the first time ever that, the Divas division has a storyline that actually matters to me.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of rumors going around about why the Divas division is not doing anything in the main roster. There's an article that came out about how Kevin Dunn doesn't think the chicks in NXT are supermodel-y enough, and who knows what the truth is. But I believe if they do bring up a number of people from NXT NXT, you have to believe they have other people in the waiting in the wings, other girls. Just like when you bring guys into the main roster, there's other guys that want their shot too.
NXT is so deep. Like, just because they're not on TV every week on NXT, that roster that they have on there, you forget, like, people I think forget too that NXT is like their training place. It's a school. It's where they're teaching these people. So they have a lot of talent that we don't even really know about that's down there.
There you go. So to answer all the questions, I think it's going to have to believe to some kind of NXT call up to maybe SummerSlam or even before that, to where it does be Paige versus the Three Bellas. Maybe. I don't know.
The Three Bellas.
Could be.
Your thoughts, Dale?
Dale, you there?
Dale!
I heard something about Bellas.
I said, I do. Where are you exactly? Are you like breaking up?
Yes, I'm waking up at 6 p.m. my time.
I said breaking up.
Oh. Well, see, that answers your question in itself.
Okay, good. I said, I think it's going to lead to, like you said, it's going to be Paige and hopefully someone from NXT versus the Three Bellas. That would maybe lead to SummerSlam. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's got to be where they're going with it. They're taking their sweet-ass time on it, but I got to hope that that's what is happening here. Because I would like to see a couple of the girls come up. I mean, Charlotte, at this point, kind of had her major run, and now is just kind of farting around in NXT. So I think if anybody, Charlotte should be coming up. But, you know, does she have a good vibe with Paige? I don't know.
Charlotte's doing the Natalia gimmick, huh? Good for her. Good for her.
Oh, not that kind of farting around.
No, it's not. He said farting around. So.
No, not that kind of.
Exclusive recording from Dale Rutledge.
Not that kind of farting around.
Oh,
Scott. Just keep squeezing your stock, and we'll move on.
It's not both. It's squeeze or stock.
Oh, Johnny. I don't know. I never heard the phrase before.
Oh my gosh.
You know what we need to talk about, Johnny?
Go.
Paul Heyman just, I know it's like redundant to say it every time he gets on the mic. It's just beautiful to my ears, but... Yeah. That was one of my favorite things he's ever said in a promo, man.
A lot of name calling back and forth. Paul Heyman was like, "Hey, Seth Rollins, you're and then Seth Rollins was like,
Paul Heyman's bitch.
Just a lot of S talking.
You think schmucks wear schmediums?
They a lot of schmucks do.
No, all right.
Why do you think I want a schmedium?
I don't know, schmuck.
Just put it out there.
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
You do know what a schmuck is, right?
I haven't. I don't. I mean, I thought a schmuck was just like a dweeb, like a.
No, dude.
Was it a Jewish word for something else?
A schmuck is a Yiddish word for a penis.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh.
Wow. Dale,
Seth
can you
Rollins
save us
is a
here?
dumb penis.
Dale, save us. I didn't know that's what a schmuck was.
I don't think you should ever be combining raw and penis at the same time. So maybe it's bad.
I mean, when I heard Paul Heyman cut that promo, I instantly texted Johnny. I was like, Johnny, you have to get that soundbite.
But schmuck, that's a word that's used throughout even the Gentiles as just like, hey, if you're a schmuck, you're a dummy, you know.
I mean, it is that, but at its root, I think...
at its root, indeed.
It's a genital for the Gentiles.
At its root, indeed.
We're going to look this up.
Yeah, put the history on your phone.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So anyways.
Heyman's always Heyman makes any story just bigger and more compelling every single time.
Yeah. Not that he even had to do a lot of work with this one, but he just destroyed the promo, and then Brock Lesnar destroyed that poor Cadillac CTS. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace.
How do you guys see this going? I mean, is there a chance that Rollins escapes with it, or do you think that it's all Lesnar?
You know what? Honestly, I tend to listen to what JBL has to say. And I'm not saying this is JBL's fault, but he always sides with the heels. And then last night he was saying, Brock Lesnar's going to walk away with that title, Michael. Like, he just keeps saying it over and over. Seth Rollins doesn't stand a chance. That's him trying to put it over that Seth Rollins doesn't stand a chance. So I think some shady stuff's going to go down.
I would just like to interrupt to tell you all what the definition of schmuck is.
Oh, please do.
That portion of one's penis which is cut off during circumcision. A Yiddish word.
This is really...
There you go, Johnny.
This is actually happening.
It is.
Take that, Radio Lab. Learn more on this show than you do anywhere else.
That's the one bit of research that Chuck does for the show for this week.
You were always home eating a ribeye.
Okay,
Historic episode.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Cadillac CTS. That was well done. Loved. I mean, actually, he threw the damn door, and apparently a fan got hit by something, but the fan's fine.
Are you serious? That's basically a NASCAR event when Brock is there. Like, there could be a car wreck at any moment, and you will get hit. So it's on you.
Rip that door off.
It looks like Brock Lesnar's having fun right now.
Yeah,
it really does.
How fun? Of course, it's fun. You destroy a car. I would love to do that. Give me 2 axes and a little bout of rage. Oh, I'd love to just destroy a Cadillac. You know? Throw a door.
I'm looking forward to this match.
It's gonna be good.
I really am.
I see it going either way. I really see it potentially going either way, and that's what's exciting about it. That either Rollins could have all the authority in his back pocket and maybe a new member of the authority that help him retain, or Brock takes it and goes into SummerSlam and we have some big epic match for the title.
Wow, that's a good point. Dale, what do you think? I mean, for me, I have a hard time believing Seth Rollins is going to lose the title already. Of course, we'll predict it on the Go Home show next week, but what do you think?
Yeah, I would hate to see him lose it, just because we already know Brock is the man, and he's the beast, and all these other monikers. Like, I think this is really... Wow, that was a child. I think this is really his time to establish himself, and, if he's got to do some cheating to get it over, that seems fine. I'd rather him keep it and head into SummerSlam as the champion and continue to solidify his name.
Dale, where are you?
Yeah, was that the apparition of a child? What noise was that?
That sounded like...
You had Insidious 3?
That sounded like the little chimes for the Harry Potter song. You on the Hogwarts Express or something?
Yes, that was Moaning Myrtle. And I'm in the men's restroom.
Dale's at the Insidious 3 premiere.
No, I'm actually about to see a early screening of Minions, and I'm in the lobby here at the movie theater.
Oh, okay. What time are we holding you? What do you got?
No, I'm doing great. I just gotta tackle this kid, and then we'll be fine.
Not recommended.
Yeah, not so
not recommended. One adult male just tackling children.
No, guys, we're under federal law here, okay? It's a little different in my town. Don't you worry about it.
Oh,
I do like surprises.
Well, okay then.
Have fun tackling children.
Yeah, as far as WWE goes, I mean, that pretty much covers everything. New Day, they stay hilarious. That match last night with Lucha Dragons, just Big E virtually spanking. I mean, and
this show is out of control today.
And Titus, I don't know if you listened to the commentary during that match. Titus O'Neil owned JBL. Like, I could have taken 6 sound bites from what Titus was saying. It was unbelievable.
Well, why didn't you, Johnny?
Yeah. There was a lot of there was too much other background noise going on. It wouldn't have been easy to hear.
Too many screaming children, huh?
Too many apparitions of kids.
Right.
Just screaming. But Titus O'Neil owned JBL. It was so funny because JBL had nothing to say back. He's like, "You're supposed to call it a match, JBL." Just over and over. It was so great.
I really think Titus could be the guy. There's just so much potential. I hope it happens soon because there's really something about him that I think he could be a champ.
I feel in a lot of ways that Darren Young kind of holds him down a little.
I was just gonna say that. I was I don't like that they put them back together. Look, I like Darren Young. I like Titus O'Neil. They're a good tag team together. But Dale, you're 100% right. Never thought I'd say that.
That Dale was right, or that Darren Young's holding them?
Was right.
I don't think D Young's holding. I think give him time a little bit as a tag team. Then eventually, because when Titus went solo, go ahead.
How much more time could they need as a tag team?
Right, exactly, Johnny. They've already done this once.
But when they went their own separate ways last time, they did absolutely nothing with Titus O'Neil. Freaking Slater Gator.
But that's not Titus's fault.
No, I didn't say it was.
That's not Titus's fault at all. Titus has. I mean, look. Every time he's the perfect person that they want for that company. He's winning Father of the Year awards, on national television on a big scale level. He's recognized outside of WWE and celebrity circles for being a presence. He's an ambassador to their brand.
Yes.
Like
former football player.
Former football player with a great stance with all the athletes that tweet him. He's pop culture right now for them. He in a way takes on that role I think that the Miz does a lot of times, where he's like their go-to publicity guy. We could put Titus out there. He's going to sound intelligent. He looks like a wrestler.
Yeah, but Darren Young's also
Darren Young's great, but I think Darren Young could be used in a similar role in a much greater capacity too. I feel like both of them could have very good singles careers.
Yeah.
Why WWE doesn't do it?
Well, because they got to have a night. They got to have their run as tag team champions first. Let them have a run, and then I agree with you. Then would be the time to maybe separate them.
I want to ask a question that might cause some controversy in here, but
You mean more than talking about schmuck
more than
penises?
talking about schmucks, yes.
Brand new Apple Watches!
Dale, I ate my Apple Watch, by the way. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Do you guys think it has anything to do with his race?
What do you mean?
Why they don't put him as give him a really solid singles run, or why they didn't before?
God, I would sure hope not. I mean,
It seems like they're always hesitant. Not necessarily hesitant, but they never go that route first. They never go a different ethnicity other than white right away, which is a shame because when there is a guy like Titus O'Neil, that there is something there. It's like you should push that guy. You should do that. When we watched,
what about The Rock though?
The Rock
I think Bobby Lashley was someone who they really got behind pretty straight out the gate.
Yeah, and then don't forget, I mean, Booker T was on top for a long time.
Yeah, but Booker T was established when he came there, and if you remember when Booker T first came into WWE, they tried to make a joke of him.
Yeah, they did that
They really did. They tried to bury him, and but because Booker being the tenacious and tenacity and having you can't. They always say cream rises to the top,
right?
And that's where I feel like Titus is rising to the top as much as he's being allowed to. And I'm wondering why there's that ceiling for him.
I agree. I would like to. Go ahead, Dale.
Is that a racist comment? Cream rises to the top. Is that racist?
No.
The coffee rises above the cream.
There it is. I would like to think the whole, when they were giving Booker trouble when he first came in, I assume that was more of the whole WCW thing. Because when Dusty Rhodes came, they threw him in polka dots. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't see why that's the man has a polka dot on him.
Yes.
So it was like, all right, well, let's put a bunch of them on you.
But it was still as an insult to him to try to make it hard on him.
I don't think I never looked at that as an insult to Dusty Rhodes.
He did, and so did everybody else.
I don't know. To me, it seemed like another putting a signature on the guy. It's doing anything else. It's like taking Undertaker and dressing him all in black and making him what was ridiculous then. You're an Undertaker. Your side job is an Undertaker, and then you go and wrestle.
But when they put him in the polka dots, Chris Jericho had a great quote that he remembered talking to Dusty about, and because a lot of people thought that was an insult, and Dusty's quote was, "I got kids, and I don't mind polka dots anyway," and so he just did it, and he made it work.
Well, and it's a testament to you talk about Booker, you talk about Dusty, like some pretty terrible gimmicks when you think about it when they first whatever they were given, and they made them work.
Yep.
So that's a testament to the person.
I would say that, I think that there is a lot of old regime racism happening in the WWE, but a lot of those guys have either, stopped working there or getting older and retired, or, I think it is something, wrestling is inherently, it is, a lot of it started in the South for America.
Right.
So you're going to get a lot of those type of aspects from it. So, it's obviously something that is being phased out, but I don't know that there aren't still some leftover tendencies of that, just because, I don't know, it's the way the older guy, and I'm not saying Vince in particular, but of the older regime, I think there is some of that in there for sure.
Right, but I'm totally on board with what you guys think. I would love to see Titus O'Neil get a main event push. And to me, and I think a lot of wrestling fans, when I watch pro wrestling, I don't even look at race. I don't look at color, period. Like when I see New Day taking on PTP, I don't think of all the black dudes in the ring. I'm like, okay, that's that team versus that team.
But see, the problem, and I agree with you, because maybe, and I don't want to say that we're like more enlightened than some people or whatever, because Lord knows on some levels I'm just not. But I think that you can just gauge by the comments that you see, like right when New Day was forming, what was everyone saying about it?
Oh, right. I know what you're saying, right.
Well, everyone was saying
Nation of Domination.
Nation of Domination, and it's like that was known for being, a
Black Power
group. So instantly, whether we think that, the majority of people instantly went there, so unfortunately I don't think wrestling is colorblind yet.
It's not, going back to Rocky Johnson getting his main event push, stuff like that, I would love to see. I think you're right, Titus he's gold. Everything he does is fantastic, and he's only going to get better in the ring, you would think. And so you're right, maybe the time is now, once this title reign ends.
Maybe it's something to do with his age.
I don't know even know how old he is.
He's a little bit older, isn't he? Yeah. I thought maybe I'm wrong about that.
Either way, John Cena's late 30s, and he's still doing his thing. So let's hope the best for Titus O'Neil. We have a new champion. in Impact Wrestling. Chuck?
Trouble, trouble, trouble.
Trouble, trouble indeed. Our guest last week, Ethan Carter III, is the new world champion, still undefeated, 600 and some days.
Carter culmination.
Carter culmination.
That match.
Awesome.
By God, by God, by God, as JR would say. There you go.
It was amazing.
Wow.
Kurt Angle, hell of a title run.
You know, speaking of Kurt, let's just give a shout out real quick. Had successful surgery today or yesterday by the time you guys are listening to this.
All right.
Some stuff removed from his neck, so.
How's he hanging?
Seems to be doing okay.
All right. About a month off, he said? Month to 2 months off, something like that?
I'm going to just.
We'll see.
The doctors are going to tell him one thing, and Kurt's going to show him up and do something else.
Yeah, let him recover and let him take his time. He's earned it. What a title reign it was, though. So many classic matches. And Dale, you know, we got a new champion, and also we have new tag team champions. The Wolves outlasted just barely those Dirty Heels in that best of 5 series.
Yeah, 4-time champions. I mean, it seems like this is Austin's last match for them for a minute, at least. We don't know, you never know. But what a way to go out. I mean, this feud was one of the best tag feuds that we've had in recent history. But going back to EC3 and Angle, were you surprised it ended on a roll-up?
Little bit, but you know what? I kind of like that, though, because
it's unexpected.
Yeah, I don't feel like every title match has to end with a finisher or a screwy finish. I think this was cool because it made EC3 win kind of legitimately, even though Tyrus did get involved. I don't know. I was totally okay with it.
It's desperation.
Yeah.
It makes him like a crafty heel in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like I liked him win the way he did it.
Yeah.
He resisted. That whole match, that whole show building up to that match, I was so excited for it. Watched with a buddy of mine and just... It was great. It was the main event. You were so excited to see it. It was a shame it didn't happen at Slammiversary, but the fact that it was so accessible to everyone then on Destination America, for those who get it, you could watch it there and see the history of this.
And it's like what you said. I love what you said last week on our show. You said, if you haven't watched TNA in a while, give Bell to Bell a chance. Watch that episode. And if you don't like it, then we can't help you because it's going to be... And it was a great show start to finish.
I want to know how many of our listeners, tweet us, tell us how many of you hadn't been watching TNA for a while, watched Bell to Bell, and what did you think?
Because we have a lot of people who will tweet in like, oh, I don't even bother. It's no, there's too much talent there to not watch. I don't care how much you hate Dixie, because trust me, everybody does. We get it.
You know what? I want to talk about that for a minute, because I last week gave my opinion very strongly about how I felt about Dixie Carter and things there, okay?
Right.
And I had a very enlightening conversation with Austin Aries this week about what his status is, which I'm sure he'll update the world on when he's ready to, all that stuff.
Well, Ring of Honor already announced.
Ring of Honor, he will be there. He's I don't think he's exclusive there or anything.
No,
same channel, everybody.
He was trending worldwide yesterday when Ring of Honor made the announcement, which means people are excited.
And he will kind of, I know he's already said he wants to come on here in a couple weeks, kind of fill everybody in what's going on, so we'll wait to let him do that. Fine.
Sweet.
But we were talking about the business as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I had told him, I was like, look, I had made the comment to him first, like, I'm glad to see, you out of TNA, a company that treats people bad, whatever. He's like, listen, they didn't treat me bad, He's like, it's a business decision. I'm, bottom line with him. He's like, and we talked about looking at the wrestling.
The timing is right for him.
Looking at the wrestling as a whole, though, is like, people shouldn't focus on the company. They should focus on the talent they want.
Yep.
Instead of the negative, look at the positives. Look at the people that are trying to do the business right. And he, so and if he says this, I take his word as gospel. Mm-hmm. He said there are a lot of people at TNA that are trying to do wrestling right now. And hopefully those people can talk some sense into the powers that be.
Right.
And they can make those changes. I mean, look, Dixie's done a lot of things that have put her in the position that she's in, Decisions that she's made, maybe not always the best. And this is what Austin and I talked about. Mm-hmm. And it was really an enlightening conversation because it's one, nice to see that he's not like bitter, you know. Two, it's nice to see that he has like a very smart way of looking at it, and it really helped change my perspective because look, everybody knows I have some bitterness in me from when I worked there.
Sure.
You know, like
he's in a great position. The timing was perfect for his contract to end. He's got so much going on, and we couldn't be happier for him. And obviously, he'll announce everything as it comes. But he's doing the big Ring of Honor show, first time in 6 years. He's going to be in that ring with a live mic. No one knows what's going to happen, and that's really exciting to see. BDC defeated the Rising, so now the Rising must disband. This Sunday, we got Kenny King taking on Eli Drake at the Red Carpet Rumble for Championship Wrestling. That's going to be a hell of a match because Kenny King and Eli Drake have had some great moments, Dale, in the ring in this feud. Now the Rising must disband.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that that's how it went. I mean, just given rumors of who is not sticking around and not sticking around TNA, I was surprised that it went this way because I felt like the Rising was still pretty new. I mean, I love the BDC. I think it's a good vibe to have a heel click like that. But I was kind of shocked by the ending.
Yeah,
and did
so
Eli actually hurt his knee? Do we know, or was that just he was just playing that up?
Who's that?
Eli Drake.
God, I don't know. I mean, he's wrestling this Sunday, so fingers crossed that it was not real.
I'm really hoping that pays off in it being a show aspect because that felt really disappointing as a story point. That if that is never addressed again, if that faction goes away, his knee was hurt, and then he doesn't even get eliminated, properly. That's disappointing. I'm hoping some big story elements, or he comes out with a lot of segments from that.
That's what it should.
I think he's going.
To be honest, with all due respect to Drew Galloway, Eli Drake, Sean Ricker, he's better on the mic, and he's ready to have a big spot in that company. If they have people leaving, it's time for him to step in. So maybe that's why the whole Rising thing disbanded.
Could be.
Look, I'm going to tell you what match I want to see eventually.
Go for it.
I want to see EC3 versus Eli Drake.
Yeah.
We talked to him about that, and he's open to it. But he's like, "Yeah, we're both interesting characters." Like, yeah, that'd be fun to see.
But they got to establish him on TV first before we get a match like that, because
agreed,
the populace isn't going to care.
Right.
We've seen Sean Ricker. We know about his stuff and how funny he is and how talented he is. But the Impact Wrestling audience hasn't seen all that yet.
Right.
He's not an established character for them yet, and I hope that's what comes about from this.
I think it will. And also, Dale, we got rumor is EC3 is already going to be defending his title this week against a few people, including our friend Norv Furnham.
Yes.
Making a big return. You can find him on Twitter at @PAvalon. He may be wrestling on Impact this week.
This is exciting. The circle of life right here. This is Lion King. This is all coming back from the first spot.
So beautiful.
Again.
So beautiful.
A champ gives the first opponent he faced. That I believe we were all there for. I know you and I were there for that show. Were you there for Bound for Glory?
I was not in person, no.
That his first opponent gets the title shot?
Yeah.
That's a generous man.
That's beautiful.
That's a generous man.
Something tells me there's going to be trouble.
I cannot wait to see it. Just take my money. You put Norv Furnham on TV. Take my money. I'm down. It's a boy.
That should have a shirt for that event. You know how they do like the WrestleMania ones? Like it's the
rematch.
Yeah, you get just a special shirt of Norv Furnham versus EC3 for the title.
It'd be amazing. And Dale, when it comes to EC3 being the new champion, you have the Wolves as tag team champions. I mean, hey, the company's in pretty good shape if you have those guys on the top.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I hate that Impact gets so much heat on is that, I mean, they have so many good guys there. I think you can just do a great show if people can get past the bullshit of it all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think EC3, hopefully this is a long run for him. I mean, 600 days of build-up, so hopefully it's a long run.
Yeah, that's where I'll give him credit. They really, this was a drawn-out process where he stayed undefeated, and it culminated to where as much as people love Kurt Angle, I think people were cool to see EC3 win, man. That's the right way to do things.
This guy?
Yeah, I know.
Probably Kurt's biggest fan.
You said it, yeah.
I'm happy to see it, and I think deep down Kurt's probably happy too, because Kurt's always been a guy that he likes to pass that torch. He likes to help young talent.
He really is. The stories we've heard about how helpful he is just unbelievable.
And this is the greatness of
Dale.
You gotta tackle those kids.
Dale, there's too many minions near. Go away.
Yeah, I think you should probably go, actually. I'm breaking up quite a lot here, and
just yell.
I'm taking down as many minions as I could.
Just yell, I am doing a podcast. Do you mind?
Dale, just start kicking minions and do it live on the podcast right now. Just go, yeah, and just start kicking them all.
I know we should do some video aspect. I would be motivated to do that.
Amazing. Well, dude, I can't wait. I'm excited to see you. We'll see you in a couple days, tops.
Yeah, I'll see you guys down at Comic-Con, and this is going to be good. I'm going to be in studio, so just make sure that Scott Melvert character isn't around anymore.
All right, well, you go hop in that movie, and then we'll get your closeout, in a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, you go enjoy that movie, all right?
All right, fellas, have a good one.
See ya. All right, so we got a couple more things to talk about. NXT, the Vaudevillains are back, and finally, the Vaudevillains don't seem to be too heelish anymore.
Weren't they back a couple weeks ago?
I don't think so. I haven't seen them in a while.
I saw them on TV a couple weeks ago. They did a thing. They lost. Now they're whatever. They're entertaining.
Now all of a sudden they want to tag. They win one match or they want a tag team title shot. If I'm Enzo and Cass, I'm like, get the hell out of here. No. But now they're facing each other next week to see who the number one contender is. So I don't know. More amazing footage of Finn Balor's journey, which led up to Beast in the East, where he won the title. It's kind of interesting talking about this now because Beast in the East was before after NXT, whatever. But yeah, Tyler Breeze defeats Ty Dillinger.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Go for it.
I like Tyler Breeze. He's talented.
He is.
I don't like his character. I don't like that character.
Really? Not at all.
And that's not a slight at him. I don't think he fits that character.
I think he does a good job at it, actually. I mean, a lot of people think maybe the character's getting a little bit played out at this point, but
I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it, and it's not that he's not talented.
He's great in the ring.
He's very talented, but I also don't feel like that gimmick would get over on the main roster.
I mean, other guys have played models. Rick Martel.
They have, but it's just
That's
like
arrogance right there, Johnny.
Rico.
And I'm not saying that. Rico was hilarious.
Oh my God, I love Rico.
Rico was one of my favorite on-air characters as far as comic and funniness goes. But see, that character, right, when you had Rico, he had many dimensions to that character, I felt like. Mm-hmm. I don't feel that with Tyler Breeze's character.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Tyler's a guy that it's not... I don't think it speaks to him. I don't think that character really connects with him. And I think also... one of the criticisms I would say with Tyler Breeze, again, very exceptionally talented, is that he wants to be the cool bad guy and won't be vulnerable.
Oh boy, that's not good.
He won't be a chicken shit heel. Like, he won't do any of that.
And to me, I don't understand that because that character screams chicken shit, doesn't it?
And I feel like that would add a dimension.
I don't think he plays that off.
Exactly, and I feel like that would add a dimension to his character, and I feel like maybe that's one of the things I couldn't quite put my finger on, but I think you're right.
It's the Bobby Heenan thing. It's wrestle like a manager and manage like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, you talk big, and the second you get in the ring, it's like, uh-oh, wait, he's a model. Protect your face, protect your body. But, everything should be so precious.
And we never see
all those types of aspects that are available to that character. I don't feel like he utilizes.
It's like he's the character when he walks down the ramp. He does a great job of it. Then, the selfie stick, the pretentiousness,
the faces. Down.
The entrance is perfect for him, but that character doesn't carry over into the ring, and then he just becomes Tyler Breeze. He doesn't become, like this larger than life, egotistical, and I think.
All right, now I do see your point, because I think part of the problem with the modern era now is you have too many guys that are trying to be cool bad guys, and you need some sons of bitches. You need people, and that's why Seth Rollins is excelling. He's a chicken shit, and he's so good at it.
And Miz has it.
Miz has it too. Miz does,
but it's not always there. Sometimes he just wants to remain cool, and it's like, come on, man, you should be wrestling Memphis style. You should be running around the ring for 20 minutes, not wanting to do anything.
Covering his face up all the time.
Covering your face, like having to tweet, having to do all this Hollywood stuff,
It's like when Cody Rhodes.
Like, go out of the ring and read a script.
Right, it's like when Cody Rhodes had the mask. He was such a chicken shit. But then again, Cody Rhodes, you're the son of a legend. You were taught by a legend. So he gets it more than most.
But that's the whole point right there, because I feel like Tyler Breeze, as far as in-ring ability goes, he's ready for the main roster.
Of course he is.
He's ready. He could hold his own against anybody in that company as far as wrestling goes.
Oh, no doubt.
if he comes out and cuts a promo on Raw one night, I'm going to laugh, and not in a good way.
All right.
It's just not quite clicking yet.
No, you brought me around.
It's good. He's got time.
Of course.
And I think it's a good way of seeing if something fits for the guy. Because by the time he comes up to the main roster, maybe it's a total switch of what he is and who he is.
Right. I guess here's my question, right? Tyler Breeze has been doing this character for a while in NXT, right? And it hasn't changed. So, like, I feel like
who's that on?
Yeah, who is that on? Is that on him? Is it on the trainers that aren't, talking to him? I mean, like, this guy, obviously, they want to use him. He's on NXT almost every week in some capacity, whether it's the main event, the opening match, in there, and he puts on great matches.
Yep.
So who does that burden then fall on to help this guy find that character? Because NXT is supposed to be there to be learning and trained in a certain way.
It makes you wonder if they feel like that character kind of ran its course, almost like Leo Kruger. I don't know.
But why do they keep putting it on TV then? Why don't they take him off and refurbish it?
Still getting a reaction, I guess.
It's still getting a reaction, and it's still better than most characters on the show. That's my guess.
And maybe Tyler's cool with it. Maybe he's like, no, this is working, right? And he's not saying anything. Maybe he thinks it's coming along.
Could be.
And everybody else, if there's no complaints, if there's no rocking of the boat, then,
I guess, it just
keep on sailing.
It just really comes down to, I feel like if he could tap into what you were talking about, he could be huge.
I think it'd be a lot better.
Let's hope for the best.
Because he wants our money, so we show up and want to see him get beat up.
Exactly. See, you brought me around on that one. Before we get to Matt Striker, let's talk about the company that he calls matches for, Lucha Underground. Once again, great, compelling television every single week. This episode actually ends with Blue Demon beating up Chavo in the locker room. These episodes are ending with weird, creepy stuff every single week, and it's fantastic.
You're not getting on Impact. You're not getting on WWE.
Beat up in the locker room? That's never happened to him in his career before.
Yeah, man. Chavo's he's playing that heel up. That Chavo's being a chicken shit.
That's right.
He knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's done it his whole career.
He's good at it too. He's good at it.
Talk about learning from the best. Look who we learned from, Eddie.
That's true.
Guerrero is Jewish for chicken shit. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I learned 2 words this year.
That's right.
Schmuck.
This year, you're tapped. You're done.
That's it. I'm done. I learned 2 Yiddish
I
words.
still love how he called himself a schmuck earlier.
Yeah, anyways. El Patron makes quick work of Marty the Moth. Marty the Moth's hilarious. Tejano defeats Daivari with Big Rick, and that's a feud that's been developing. It's interesting because when Tejano came in, he was like straight up heel versus El Patron. All of a sudden, he's totally flipped the script, and people are on board. I love him. He's great. And Daivari's kind of playing a chicken shit.
Mm-hmm. He's good at that.
He's really good at it. He's drinking his little, I don't even know what's in his glass. Whiskey? Whatever the hell it is. The Golden Warrior.
Well, listen, for all you fans of Lucha Underground, I do know that Daivari will be at Comic-Con this week signing autographs.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
you can check him out there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You might find me around his booth somewhere. I don't know.
Holding his glass.
There it is, a little glass of whiskey.
He asked me to come help him, so I don't know what I'm going to do for him, but we'll figure it out.
Party on. And then, of course, Katarina and Mil Muertes, they're just being creepy, just demanding they want that title match. They're wishing death on everybody, and she's really good at it. She is just really taken that character and done something with it, which is great. And also,
they're a great duo.
They really are a great duo, and we still have Vampiro being bothered by his past demons, and that's going to lead between him and Pentagon Jr. That's gonna go to somewhere when it comes to Ultima Lucha.
It could.
Yeah.
Is Vampiro gonna do it? Or is he just gonna be plagued by his demons?
I don't know. I mean, Vampiro, man, he hasn't wrestled in a while.
I think he's got something in him. There's something in that guy. Like they're giving it too many segments to not be something. You know?
Boy, that would be.
It's a cool tease.
If that's leading to Ultima Lucha, good God, that's going to be nasty. That's all we got.
I thought you were going to say something, Chuck.
Yeah, I thought you were going to.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I do want to know if you got to. Obviously, you got to this interview with Matt Striker. You talk about Vampiro coming back in the ring. I want to know if we're ever going to see Matt Striker in the ring.
Yeah, did Matt Striker teach you a new word? Because that guy's smart.
He is a very smart man. Yeah. We didn't necessarily talk about him wrestling per se. We did a little bit, but as far as actively, I mean, I think he's open to doing stuff, but he's just really busy right now, and I think he's enjoying what he's doing. But the guy stays in shape, and I still still think the door's always open to that.
I think he loves it so much, and he's really aware of when a good time would be too, when it would mean something, like not just something's happening in the ring and I'll just jump in and I'll do a match between this and Chavo just because it's they wanted me to. No, that guy I think is really aware of storyline and what's important.
Yeah, you talk about a guy that gets it. Matt Stryker gets it, and so it was a joy to talk to him, and it's so fun to talk about Lucha Underground every week. They've been so kind to us every time we've gone to a taping, and we've had a lot of times and a lot of fun interviewing people on the show. So with that said, it's now time for Matt Stryker. We'll be right back.
All right, very special guest on here at the Compadres. We've been looking forward to having him for a long time. He has delighted and angered fans all over the world. He's a scholar, a grappler, a commentator. He was one of the voices of Wrestle Kingdom. Now you see and hear him every single week on Lucha Underground on the El Rey Network. He is a man who chased his dream, and by God, he reached it. He is Mr. Matt Stryker. How are you, sir?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I love the whole "and have angered many." That was a great little add-on.
You pissed a lot of people off, man. You were good at it.
Yeah, man. Listen, at the end of the day, a good antagonist is supposed to make you feel like, I want to punch him in the face, I want to punch him in the face, and then right before you're about to, you think to yourself, I'm not sure if this guy can really kick my ass or not. And that's what I'm trying to go for,
And there's no better antagonist than someone who thinks he's better than everybody else. And that's the character that you portrayed for a long time, and it was fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a character, totally. A huge departure from who I really am.
Well, let's start off, because I'm fascinated. The path you've had is really motivating. And let's start off early, then we'll move into everything you're doing with Lucha. Everyone knows you were a teacher, master's degree, educational psychology, but you had to hustle. I mean, you were teaching and wrestling at the same time. Is there any specific memory that stand out during that time where you probably weren't sleeping at all?
No, I mean, I guess you can do what you want to do. It's like that, so to speak. You do whatever you want to do. I went to school because both my parents were like, listen, go get a degree, and you never know. You might have a job where you can get off at 3 o'clock every day and have the summers off. But okay, that sounds great. And then on the flip side, I can, go into Brooklyn and train and get my ass kicked at Johnny Rod's. So I guess I wasn't aware of what I was doing. I was just doing what I wanted to do.
No days off, though. I mean, you were teaching full time, I think?
Yeah. I mean, it was, go Monday to Friday, or maybe I was sick on a Friday because I had to drive to Maryland or somewhere. And then you go and you train and you come home, and I mean, you're young. You eat, you take a shower, maybe you may or may not smoke a bowl if you're into that. You watch the wrestling, you wake up, you do it again the next day. That's it.
Is there any truth to the rumor of those quote-unquote 11 sick days to go to Japan?
Well, the thing was, there was 3 days in question, and if I would have called in personal, like, hey, I got a personal thing, you and I wouldn't be talking right now, but I called in sick. I mean, that's what people do, and that was the beef there. Was those 3 days that were called in as sick days, and they could have been used as personal days. Hand to God, man.
That's well worth it, though, I think.
I guess so, yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Dale.
Now, do you feel that being a teacher/wrestler combo is kind of what paved your path to being such a talented commentator?
I mean, I appreciate the compliment. I think talented is subjective. But looking back at the end, I'll look back and be like, oh, yeah, look how all that fell into place. But while you're in it, while you're in the path, I'm not aware of these things. Oh, maybe this helped. Oh, yeah, that helped. I just kind of think everything has been the way it's been for a reason. So I'm just going to trust in whatever's been guiding me this long to finish out the ride. That's kind of how I look at it,
Yeah, that was actually one of my other questions is being a commentator, was that always something that you had considered, or was it, something that kind of sparked and you just kind of really took to it, along that lines of like, hey, this kind of makes sense now?
You might not believe this, but even 7-year-old Matt Stryker, no one liked. I spent a lot of time by myself with my G.I. Joe figures. I have my own wrestling federation. So I did commentary from 7 years old up until right at this minute. I constantly was doing commentary to fill in whatever social deficiencies I had that lent themselves to me being pretty much by myself a lot, you know? So it really is just turn on the faucet or turn off the faucet. And so, I mean, gosh, I feel like I've been doing it all my life. I don't know anything else to do.
I can't believe you just said that. When I was a kid, I had my own wrestling federation with all my G.I. Joes, and my Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe was the champion for like 7 years running. So
of course. Get out of here. And I said this to someone, and I'll say it to you. The internet is going to bash you now because of the way you keep booking Sergeant Slaughter on top. Why are you holding down the younger talent? Just so you know. You know, you bring up a great point. He's the Sarge, man. You know, and I actually marked up my parents' coffee table so bad wrestling with the G.I. Joes they had to buy the coffee table. Still don't forget about it. There you go.
Not the only table that Sergeant Slaughter ruined, I'm pretty sure.
Or the only table that Johnny marked up.
Oh, man. All right, so you've been all over the world, wrestled in multiple countries, many an opponent over the years. If I had to ask you some of the best people you've been in the ring with, who springs to mind like automatically?
Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Low Key, Triple H. And you know what just hits me like a truck? That I can say names like Kurt Angle, Undertaker, and Triple H. Those can come out of the mouth of the kid who played with his G.I. Joe figures. And it's a reality. Like, wow, it's still not lost on me. But yeah, those guys, man, that jump right away. And Tommy Dreamer, too. For a big garbage bag full of marshmallows, he can certainly go.
Oh, he's the best. And it's funny, what you said leads me into the next question. You know, you're past the WWE. I don't really know much about it or how that happened. How did you go about getting noticed? Because you were teaching, you were training in Brooklyn. Obviously, the goal was to get there, but how did that actually happen where they noticed you and actually brought you in?
And to each their own. I'm a God guy. I believe that everything happens because of a certain divine wind, but the story of the teaching thing was in the news, and I guess it was a slow news week, and Court Bauer actually told me that Vince McMahon was reading the New York Times on the plane, or someone was reading it to him, and my name came up, and my picture was there, and Tommy Dreamer had just wrestled me a week before, and Tommy was in Talent Relations. Everyone said, yeah, let's bring this guy in for a second. And then from there, it was the Kurt Angle Invitational that went down to the final second. Again, divine intervention. And then 8.5 years later, I was still there. Wow. They found me hiding in a closet. They're like, get out of here. What are you doing? Nothing big guy.
So that's a one-of-a-kind story. That's for sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I chalk it up to something much bigger than I can comprehend, you know?
When do you get to the level of somebody reading the paper for you? I need to get to that level.
Yeah, exactly. I think the way Court relayed the anecdote was Vince was going on a tirade about how we need more guys with real backgrounds, interesting stories, and one of the writers at the New York Times said, "Hey, Vince, think about this." And he said,
Was that audio recording? I think it was.
Yeah, that was a pretty good Vince. All right, let's talk Lucha Underground, as it's one of the hottest commodities in wrestling world right now. How did you end up over there?
Again, I think it you see the same people on the way up as you do on the way down kind of thing. I had made a great bond and connection with a few writers over at WWE. They had gone on to eventually write for Lucha Underground, and one day I was sitting in my car and my phone rang. Just, hey, what's up? And it really was, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't know, nothing. Do you want to come to LA and call some wrestling? And then that night, my plane ticket came to me, and in the morning I was on a plane to Los Angeles. It literally like that.
Wow.
So it was just, Krista Joseph and Chris Roach and Matt Stallman and the other guys and Eric Van Wagenen and everybody that said, let's give this annoying guy a chance. That's it.
That sounds like wrestling. Nothing's ever last minute in wrestling. I mean, go on.
Yeah, right?
Now, I think you could argue that anyone on that roster are some of the best ring workers in the biz. Who are some of your current favorite guys or gals to watch in Lucha?
Well, I'm still a wrestler at heart, so I still look for moves that I can steal, ones that are easy and whatever. So I find myself watching a lot of Drago's stuff and, going back, like, I guess I would call it rewind because I used to use tapes, but yeah, I'd rewind his stuff and pause, frame advance, slow, and try to, like, see the moves it's doing, because the footwork of the luchadors is really what. Listen, for someone like me, I've been watching wrestling all my life. I mean, how many times can I see the same match with a hip toss and a drop kick? I get it, okay, And what Lucha Underground and what Lucha Libre does for me, it's like, whoa, I know it's wrestling, but I'm really hooked. How do you do that? Whoa, that was cool. So that's Drago, Phoenix, guys like that. I like Angelico, and he was trained by Negro Navarro, who I'll say it, I'm a mark for Negro Navarro and all his leg locks for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, when watching the show, there hasn't been one negative thing said about it. It's an incredible television product. And we got a chance to talk to Eric Van Wagen. He said right from the beginning, is this a wrestling promotion or a TV show? And they decided television show. And it's been the best of both worlds. I mean, everything from the vignettes to, like you said, the matches. There's people on that roster that you can't compare them to anybody. And you've seen them all. You've had a bird's eye view. What are the matches that stand out to you so far that we've seen on television? I know we have plenty more at these one left.
I think what's great about the shows is that they flow like a television show. And wrestling on television usually is just, match to match to match to main event. But I think Lucha Underground kind of like drops a flag in the beginning, a little ping, and then by the time the show's over, you really see the consistency throughout. So I like to watch some of, like, I like watching Bengala. I like watching some matches that I don't know if they've aired yet. It's hard for me to say which one. Right. There's just a lot of great stuff, and it all kind of melts together, so nothing really comes to mind. I mean, tomorrow night, they're going all night long, which I think is, where else are you going to get that? You're going to get two guys at Mundo and Prince Puma, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, and then for the entire night, they're going to think about what those guys are going to have to do to keep your attention, and then, hit me up on Twitter tomorrow night and tell me if they kept your attention.
Did you know that moment with Angelico where he jumped off the roof? I want to say, I don't know what you would call it, that platform into the ring itself. Did you know that was coming?
No, I mean, one thing I learned from Jerry Lawler, and being at the WWE is a little different because of the magnitude and the length of the show, the fair show. There's scripts and runs and formats, so if you kind of peek through them, you can kind of figure out what's going to happen. And Jerry Lawler talked to me, he said, "Well, I don't know why. If you want to rely on your wrestlers and you want to react organically, naturally, you don't want to know that thing's coming because you're going to run it to yourself and your call won't be as good." And I'll never forget that. So anytime when I see the guys are walking through stuff or I see a wrestler is looking, a lot of wrestlers will just start looking up. And I know you're thinking, what type of shit can I jump off? I go and I hide, there's a little office in the Underground, the temple. I go and I hide in there all day. I don't want to know. I don't want to see. I want to see it when you do it. So when he did that, I mean, I don't know if I said it, but I'd be like, holy F. Like, what other kind of explanation did you have? The reaction.
Yeah.
It's so true. I'm glad you said that because, I know what I do to prepare to call matches, but how do you do it? I mean, because you're a wealth of knowledge. I mean, what you were saying for Wrestle Kingdom it just educated so many people, and now, of course, with Lucha Underground, you know everything. I mean, what's the process like of preparing? I assume just tons of note-taking, tons of footage, anything else, maybe?
Well, I mean, again, I appreciate, saying thank you. And I also want to say to the, not the smart mark, but to the deeply invested wrestling fan. I mean, a lot of the Wrestle Kingdom stuff and the Lucha Underground stuff that I'm saying that they are turned off to, it's not for them. And, I was approached to say, we want new eyes, 18 to 35-year-old Latin males for Lucha Underground. For Wrestle Kingdom, people that have never seen our stuff before. So, yes, I go back and do a ton of research. And, yes, I make, outlines and little things that I think might be interesting. But for Lucha Underground, I'm at a point where, all right, it's Sexy Star versus, Mil Muertes. I don't really need notes. The wrestling is going to be there. As far as storylines and stuff go, I really would love to be the announcer that doesn't have to continually give you storyline. You get it. You're not an idiot wrestling fan. So at this point, preparation is really just, is there a move I've never seen before? Is there anything you think about it's going to do tonight that I don't know? No? Okay, cool. I'll see you out there. Thank you. And I'm real fortunate.
Nice. Okay.
That is one thing I really like is that I learned from listening to you call a match because you actually call the moves and let us know what's happening rather than like, oh, here's a big move. It's like, oh, okay. I actually can walk away from listening to you and knowing more at the end of it.
Well, I mean, and again, I appreciate it, but I think that what people compare wrestling announcing to is they're comparing it to what Vince McMahon wants wrestling announcing to be. So everyone's holding the Michael Coles, the JBLs, the Bookers, to this standard. In Vince's mind, doesn't care if it's a Michinoku driver or a body slam or a high-impact maneuver. In Vince's mind, that's not selling a ticket. What's selling a ticket is that John Cena used that move on Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens has an injured neck. So the moves become thrown away, and granted, I don't know the names of all the moves either, but some of us really like to know, that's this move, and this guy did it, and this is why he's doing it. So I think that's why Lucha Underground offers a nice alternative.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned Kevin Owens and Cena. I mean, are there any Dream Team wrestlers out there today that you feel would be a great addition to the Lucha Underground roster?
Yeah, there's so many. I just recently, I was bored on Twitter, and I just said the best unsigned indie talent is myself. And I mean, dude, it's just overflooded because everyone has their opinion. There's a lot of great guys out there, and I don't want to be one to say, hey, let's get, Johnny Gargano on that, or hey, we should take Rick Swan, because, those guys that are great, that are out there, that are unsigned, they know they're great. And the companies that are out there now looking to sign guys, Ring of Honor, WWE, Underground, NA, they know that those guys are great. If they don't, then they lose out. So when the time comes for Underground to sit down and look at the unsigned kind of talent, I'd love to be in that meeting because I certainly have 20 names right out there. I just wouldn't want to disrespect those guys.
Right. Now, then what about you, Matt? Or is there any chance of seeing you return to the Squared Circle in Lucha Underground? In the Lucha Future?
Hey, that's funny. I'm not so sure if, what the stars hold with that. I do know that if you're all looking for announcers to, kind of lace up their boots again, you might be pleasantly surprised in the coming weeks when Vampiro may or may not become completely insane. So let's get through that first for a bit.
Well, speaking of that, is sitting next to him as intimidating as it looks? Because he is a terrifying human being.
You know something, man? It's cosmic. He and I met one time in MLW in Florida. Just a brief passing. When we met again, however many years later, on the ground, there was just something there. Like, I see him as the nicest, sweetest, warmest, kindest, wouldn't hurt a fly guy. But we've been places like where people agitate him, and I see the flip of the switch. So I'm just real lucky that I know the other side of it, but I can see where people would just be like, oh, that's
yeah, for sure. And while we're on the topic of Lucha, you probably have to keep this close to the hip, but is there any info that you know about Season 2? I mean, we can only assume it's going to happen because the show's amazing. Anything that you'd be able to let us in on?
I mean, the official rhetoric is that there has been no official statement, but, stay tuned. That's kind of where I'll leave it. Cool.
All right, final question then. What else fills your days when you're not calling the action and consuming wrestling almanacs?
I like to take time for myself. I live near the beach. I literally walk on the beach. I'm not being funny. I play softball for a while, go to the gym, I relax, take care of my grandmother and my sister. And I'm just chilling, really. I mean, Tony Garea said to me, like, my first week in WWE, where they literally literally hand you money. I'm not being funny. Here's the money, okay? And he handed it to me, and then he took it down, like, kind of did this thing. And I was like, listen, save your money. That's not best advice, guys. Save your money. He slapped the money into my hand. I never forgot that. Because shit happens, you know? And I mean, thank God for Vince McMahon and WWE and now for Lucha Underground that I get to kind of just chill and do what I love. And that's where I'm at.
That's a beautiful thing, and I just want to thank you as well. We got to work together, you know, for a brief time in Championship Wrestling, and you were so open to just me asking you questions because, you know, I was trying to gain knowledge from you on announcing and just, you know, psychology about things, and you were always just a sponge. Like, you allowed me to just ask questions, and you would give me great information, and so I never got a chance to thank you, so I just want to say thank you for that. Not a lot of guys are that open to helping, so you always were, and even though we only did a couple tapings together, it was an awesome experience, so thanks for that.
I mean, that makes me, like, super happy because I remember when I was starting, man, and I would have questions for guys. The guys would be dicks to me just for no reason. And I remember saying to myself, yo, if I ever make it, man, if I ever come close, I'm never going to be a dick. So I'm going to go out of my way to be nice to this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, dude, 100% you're welcome. I remember you and I sitting on crates, like, behind curtains and stuff and talking and stuff like that. So, yeah, you were cool, and you deserve all your success and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I really appreciate that, and hopefully we will work together someday. And Lucha Underground, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. His Twitter is at Matt_Striker_. And anything else we could put over for you, sir?
No, man, just keep enjoying Lucha Underground. Keep supporting wrestling, whether it be on the independent level or up to the highest level. And I mean, just stop hating on people. Let people do their thing. And if you don't like it, just, you know, go do something else. But stop hating on people because at some point someone's going to punch you in your face.
It's funny. Dale, we preach that every week on the show, man. Positivity. That's how we live.
Sure enough.
Good. Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
Well, once again, we had a show today. We had Matt Striker. We had Scorpio Sky.
Put an adjective in front of that show.
What do you mean?
Tremendous?
Well, we had a show.
He's like, we had a show.
Spectacular?
Outstanding.
The show in the West.
Amazeballs.
We had a show, Scott.
Yeah, we had a show in the West.
Well, there you go. Well, show in the West? What the hell are you talking about?
Well, we had the Beast in the East.
Uh-huh.
We had a show in the West.
Why are you doubling up the word show? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to add some
Because you said we had a show today. Well, obviously we had a show today.
Making it bigger and better. It's bigger and better than you think it was, Johnny. You're in it.
You know what, Scott?
You were always home eating a ribeye.
Yeah, that's what I have to say to you, Marver. You're always at home eating a ribeye. You're just throwing stuff out there, seeing if it sticks on the wall.
Every night, steak night.
Oh my God.
All right, let's close out. Thank you to Matt Striker. Such a fun interview and incredible commentator. Was a great wrestler as well. Still active and still does shows, and he's awesome. And also Scorpio Sky this Sunday, Red Carpet Rumble. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. Scott Narver, why don't you put yourself over, buddy?
You can follow me on Twitter at Curtain Jerks, and you can listen to my comedy wrestling podcast, Curtain Jerks, available on iTunes and SoundCloud. And this week, still, we have the interview with ODB where I proposed marriage.
Wow, do you now?
I do. You gotta listen.
Propose marriage.
I do. I proposed marriage to her. ODB had said she'd never been proposed to before.
You talk about a show in the West. That sounds like one to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Big time.
Can you top that, Chuck Rice?
I can't top that. I proposed to ODB once and she just flat out said no.
She doesn't remember it, apparently. That's a shame. That's a damn shame.
You can find me on Twitter at crice17. You can find me on Instagram at Chuck Rice. And I will be around Comic-Con sometime this weekend. Around there doing things and stuff. Probably you too, huh, Dale?
Oh, yeah. Wait, you're talking about you proposing to me, right? Is that what we're going to do?
Well, I mean, you know, it is legal now if I wanted to.
Any state we want.
So, you know.
So, Dale, why don't you put yourself over?
I am The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me on YouTube.com, Dishing on Movies.
You sure?
Yeah, Archer, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, he's just trying to make sure. All right, there we go. At Wrestling Buds on Twitter, Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. We are so close to 3,000 followers, so if by chance you haven't followed us on Twitter, why don't you do that, or like tell your friends or your cousins or your other family members that you might not like, or your enemies. Doesn't matter, just follow us on Twitter. I am at Jay Quasto. Red Carpet Rumble this Sunday, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, 3 p.m. bell time. Just go to CWF Hollywood for all the info. It's going to be amazing. And also the tour in the Middle East, I couldn't be more excited about, and we're going to talk plenty about it over the next couple of weeks. So other than that, jlocomedy.com. I have a couple shows in San Diego this week, so if you're down there for Comic-Con, come out and see a show. Otherwise, let's see here. Scott, I want you to say something funny really quick while I find the button that I need to close out the show with. So go ahead, Scott. Just do something.
If you're looking at this,
no pressure.
Yep. All right. Thanks. If you're looking at this on YouTube, that picture on the far right, that's me smelling my hand.
There it is. With that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for AfterBuzz TV and Podcast One. Thanks for listening. We love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Been a long time since I felt so fine. Drop the child, let the woofers play. Can't remember the last time I felt this way. Can't stop my shine, so crank it up for me one time. Want this?